Hello and welcome to this episode on My App Tutor TV. This week we're going to be looking at Stack Idea's Easy Blog component and specifically how to add a blog to your site via the front end. Now this here is Stack Idea's Easy Blog component, and if you want more details on it, go to their website and have a browse around. Now we're going to go to the website, which I'm going to show you how to add a blog to via the front end. And as you can see here, the site is actually down, it's not live at the minute, so the first thing we need to do is just log on. So I'll log on with my username here, and once it loads up we're presented with the home page on this site, and as you can see it is a blog, and this here is the actual blog module here. So ignore this stuff on the right hand side. This is one of Stack Idea's Easy Blog modules, which is producing this stuff here. We just want to concentrate here on the actual blog itself. And as you can see, it has various blogs all the way down. Now, because I am logged in here as a super user, as you can see here in the account, this gives me the option to be able to via the front end change any modules. And you'll notice that I've got this little icon here, and if I come to any other module positions, you'll see that I've got the little icon here, and essentially that means I can edit from the front end. So in this circumstance, if I click on this icon here for the Easy Blog component area, you'll see I've got four options. I've got an option to feature this, I've got an option to edit the entry, delete the entry, or unpublish the entry. Now we'll start from the bottom. Unpublish it essentially means that you're not deleting it, it's still saved there in the back end of your website, but it's no longer viewable to people who visit your site. Deleting the entry, however, will delete that completely from your database and it is gone. Editing the entry allows you to edit the current blog that you're looking at, or alternatively gives you the option to be able to add new blogs. And we'll go into that in a second. Feature this, well, that just highlights that particular blog as featured. But we can come on to that in due course. In this circumstance, I'm going to come down to Edit Entry and select on that. And what appears in front of us is the Easy Blog component front end module. And you'll see we've got this toolbar up here, which in some occasions is visible on the front of your website, but I've got it turned off in the back end. And as you can see, it's got the current blog up here. Now I don't particularly want to edit this blog, I'm quite happy with that one. I want to write a new one. And so we come to this little icon here, and if I hover my cursor over it, you can see it says write. If I click on that button, it takes us to the new post module. As you can see, it tells you here new post. Now we're going to go through this from top to bottom, and I'll just talk you through the different settings that you need to set or you can set for your blog. Now the first thing here on the top left is the category. Clicking on that will allow you to select the different categories that you have on your website. Now the categories are inputted via the back end of the website, and if you need to do that, you can show that in another video. But in this circumstance, I'm just going to leave this down as uncategorized. And then to the right of that, we have the different type of posts you can put up. We've got a standard post, which is what essentially you've been seeing on this site here. You can put a photo post, a video, a quote, or a link. We're just going to stick with the standard post here. Next thing we need to do is add a title, so I'm just going to put this down as a test blog. And then on the right hand side, you'll see when I hover my cursor over it, it says select an image to be associated with your blog post. You can only specify a single image for this blog post, which will be used as the main blog image throughout the site. Now this doesn't mean that you can only add one image to each blog you put. You can add as many as you want, and we'll come on to that in due course. But in this circumstance, I'm going to select this button here, which is the Select Blog Image button. Click on it, and it takes us to the Select Blog Image dialog box. And you can see in here that I've got 5 different images, and I could add more if I wanted to. If I wanted to add more, I would select this icon here, Upload Media, and then I'm presented with this dialog box here. As you can see, it says just drop a file here to upload. So if I open up my file manager here, I'm just got to open in another page. I'm just going to drag it across, and you can see I'm just clicking and dragging and dropping it in here, and then it uploads and it says it's complete. And then I go to the Browse Media button right at the top here. Clicking on that, it will then show me all the different images that I've got. I've just uploaded this one here. In this circumstance, I'm actually going to use this one here, this Union Jack flag here. Selecting it highlights it with this blue surround, and then you simply press this button here, Use as Blog Image, and it comes in and you can see it's there. Now if I wanted to change that, I could just select the trash can icon here, which will delete it. Alternatively, I can just select the blog image button here and just select a new image. Below that we have two dialog boxes. One is to enable who you want to view the blog. Now if you were having registered viewers or subscribers on your site and you only wanted them to be able to see this particular blog, you would change that here and you would select whatever you want to in here, and that's those user groups are sorted out by the back end of the site. If you had different languages on your site, you could select that here. In this case we've only got English, so I'll just leave that at the default. And below that we have three different icons. The first one is an older post link, which enables us to search for previous blogs on the site and insert them as a link in this particular blog post. We're not going to do that. Insert Media uses the built-in media manager to upload and manage any existing assets you've got, and then we can embed video if we so desire. And you can use this to embed or link to videos from external video providers such as YouTube, Dailymotion, etc., etc. The button to the right here, now this is by default set to publish because it's set up as default in the back end. If you weren't wanting to publish this today and just merely add some info into it and publish at a later date, you can select unpublish. We'll just leave it at publish for the minute, and then come down to the main what you see is what you get editor. Now if you're familiar with a word processor, you will recognize most of these icons up here because they are very similar, and all you simply do is click into the box in here and then type whatever you want to place in to your blog. I'm just going to put in this is a test blog, and then say we wanted to put an image underneath that. Well, I could do one or two things here. I could just drag and drop an image in here. So say I had a image here. Let me just grab an image. I could just drag it in here, and you can see, well, that was a bit of a bad demo because it was too large an image. So let's just drag a small image in here, and as you can see, it comes in, takes a second to upload that, and it gives the image here, and then we can change the size of that if we so desire by just grabbing one of the corners here and just changing the size. So that's one way of adding an image. You can see our box has actually changed size here. To delete an image, you just select it and tap on delete and it goes. Another way is to have our cursor in here and then select this little icon here, which is the insert and edit image. And once I select on that, I'm presented with Joomla's own image manager here, which is the JCE plugin image manager, and then I can select any of the icons I want, any images, sorry, I want in here. In this circumstance, I'm just going to add this image here, which is the LeJog logo here, and click insert, and it comes in. And once again, I can change the size of this if I so desire. So I'm just going to change it there, and then I can change the alignment of it. Now by default it's aligned to the left hand side here. I can align it to the center, to the left or to the right. I'm going to align it to the center so it always appears in the middle of my blog. And then below that I could add anything else I wanted to. So I could add some bullet points if I wanted to, and you can choose the different types in here. If you wanted number ones or letters, you can use all these options in here. I can change the color of fonts just by highlighting them and changing the color in here. For example, I could change a different font size. If I wanted this smaller or larger, I could do that in here. Virtually every attribute that a normal word processor has, you've got in here. Now if I wanted to add more text, I could put in loads in here, and then if I only wanted for your first view of the site to be only a few lines, well, I could put a read more line in here, which means that it's hidden from the main view, and when you go into the blog itself it will then be visible. Below that we've got tags. Now tags are used to help you filter content on your website, to be able to search on your website, and it also helps with the search engine optimization element of your website. So in this circumstance we're just going to put down advert here, and if I wanted to put another one in, I could just select in this box here, highlight it, and I could type in what I want. So I could put in test, for example, and then press enter, and it adds that as a tag. You'll see that I'm only allowed 5 tags. I've used 2 of 5 in this option. Here I can change the author by clicking on this icon here, and it allows me to change the author of whoever I want. Won't go into that. If I want to allow comments on this particular blog, I can ensure this is set to yes. I want it displayed on the front page, yes. Do I want to send notification emails? Now if someone subscribed to the blog by clicking on the subscribe button, they will get an email once this is published saying there is a new blog on the website, come and have a look. If this is checked, obviously. Now if you wanted to password protect this particular blog, well, you could put that in here. Let's say for example there's a blog you wanted to put up that you didn't want anyone else to see, and only a particular individual or individuals to see. Well, I could put a password in here and then email or text them the password, so that when they come onto the site and they want to be able to view that particular blog, they would need to input that password and they'll be able to see it. Below that we've got 3 different date elements which we can change: the creation date, the publishing date, and the unpublishing date. Now the creation date by default is set to now, so today is actually Tuesday the 4th of November. I could change that to whatever I want, and you're asking, well, why would I want to change that? Well, sometimes you might be creating a blog of a series of events, and you only actually get to be able to put the content on your website after maybe 3 or 4 days later, and you want to be able to put this particular blog 3 days ago, because when the blogs are published, they're published in chronological order. So say this one was actually done on Monday, I could change this to Monday and then click save, and you'll see that it then changes that to Monday the 3rd. If I wanted to publish this immediately, I'll just leave it at the default. Or say I was going to be away from the computer for a period of time and not able to publish a blog that you wanted everyone to be able to see next week. Well, I could change the date here to publish this next week, for example, and it would publish it on that date and time. If I also wanted to unpublish a blog at a particular date, I could do that here. So another example is, say I had a blog talking about the start of an event. Well, it's pointless advertising the start of that event if it's already started, so I might want to change the unpublishing date to be the day after the event starts, for example, and you would do that in here. Now we can put in a location here if we wanted to, so let's go and use my current location, and you'll see you'll get this little pop-up depending on what browser you're in. Now I'm in Firefox here, which comes up with this particular pop-up. I'm going to share the location, so I'm happy with that, and you'll see that it gives me a little dialog box of where I am. So I'm going to select Fareham, Hampshire, and you'll see that it then gives me a map and places a little pointer in the middle of that particular location. And you can be very specific with this. It could be your actual address if you wanted to, or the address of any location in the world. You can zoom out of it here by just using your scroll wheel, and so on and so forth. So there we go. We can add that in here, or we can just delete it if we don't want to. But I'm going to leave it in there. And then we come down to the search engine optimization areas. Now if you don't know anything about this, you're better off just leaving it blank and going with that. But I will just run it through you because it is important if you want people to be able to find content on your site. Now the meta description is a short description, as you can see here. Most search engines only search for content up to a maximum of 160 characters, so you actually get a character count that you put in here. So you might want to put in this circumstance, this is a charity bike ride. Bike ride from, and remember that this description should be specific to the blog that you're putting up. So in this circumstance it's just a test blog, but you would put in what that blog is about. Now the meta keywords are also very important, and these are the keywords that enable search engines to filter out what your website is about. So in this circumstance, well, we know it's about a charity bike ride, and you separate the keywords by a comma. Now I always have a space afterwards, but that's just purely for aesthetic reasons. You don't need that, but it needs to be separated by a comma. So we've got charity bike ride, so we can put in Land's End to let's put that little apostrophe in there, shall we? And so on and so forth. So you get the idea, and you can put as many as you want in there. But the key to this is try to be very specific. And that's it. The last thing we need to do is just come up to the top here, and where it says publish now, you'd publish now. Now you have got some options here to have it share automatically to various social media websites like Facebook, Twitter, Google+, etc. In fact, no, it doesn't do Google+ at the minute, it just purely does Twitter and Facebook. These need to be set up via the back end, and you'll need your Facebook and Twitter details to be able to do that. Now clicking on publish now will publish this. If I just click on apply and go out of this, it will save this as a draft, and you'll get a little icon up here where it says drafts, telling you that there is a draft in. But I'm going to publish this now, and what you're presented with straight away isn't your blog view. It's just a list of the blogs that you've got, because you're still actually in edit mode here, and that's signified by the fact that you've got this toolbar up here. You'll see that, well, it has published that successfully, but it just gives you a list of all of those on here. To actually see the blogs themselves, you need to come up to this icon here, which is the return to blogs, and bang, there you go. There is your test blog with all the gumph that you put in. Now remember, this is just the preview of the blog itself. To actually get to the full blog, you can do it in one of three ways. You can click on the heading, you can click on the image, or you can click on the continue reading button down the bottom. Let's do that now, and this will take us to our blog, which you'll see makes the blog image a little bit smaller. It gives you the option here to, under report this, print, change the font size. It gives you your map here, gives you the option to be able to publish this to social media sites, you can rate it, and then you can add a comment at the bottom. And this, anyone will be able to add a comment. And there you go. That is your introduction to be able to add a blog to the front end of a Joomla website.